And I'm back from Japan. And we're back covering Harley Quinn season 5, episode 3. And as I left with season 4 and I left Will in charge for episode 1 and 2 for this series, it looks like the content hasn't gotten any better. Basically as unintelligent as wearing shades inside the room at 12:30 a.m. at night. Or to quote Clayface, this is shit. All right, guys, right here back with variants. We cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. And I'm so happy to be back with you, the viewer. But I have to say, this series has continued to be a disappointment. After seeing episode 1, I had, just like Will did, hope. I thought we were going to an intelligent, a well written, a fresh start, a fresh change of scene would bring and inspire life into this series. As it turns out, we basically have done the exact opposite and somehow managed to dumb things down to such a moronic level that Floronic Man was born, and here we are just trying to rise up from the ashes of what this series used to be. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, all solid. Season 4 sucked. Season 5, can we just put the nail in the coffin in this one? This feels a lot like the way Titans did back in the day. And you know us. We love to talk about series. We love having discussions. We love having good dialogues. We love having open forums and being positive and shining light on shows that we really like to think that most people want to see and most people want to cover, whether it's within Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, you get the gist. However, I don't think this series has an ounce of intelligent writing to save itself. Coming off of Creature Commandos and then seeing this, or as I did, I finished this episode and then an ad for Creature Commandos came up. It starkly reminded me of, hey, one of these things is well done, Creature Commandos. One of these things is not. Now let's talk about the episode and meat and potatoes of why I feel the way I do about this episode and, quite frankly, this series as a whole. Why in the world are we still dragging on this Clayface thing? Like, I love Clayface. He's a fun character. He's altruistic. He is one of a kind. He is a unique and hilarious being. However, the fact that 60 to 70% of this episode revolved around just him being a narcissist didn't seem entirely necessary. Um, it seemed like the writers were doing everything they can to buy time for what minimal plot is going on. This felt like early seasons of Family Guy. And I mean like season 1, like season 2, where like there didn't seem to be an ounce of discretion amongst anyone about where things were going. And later on, they kind of finished it working around the edges and figuring out what their shtick was. They've stuck to it and have seen many, many seasons. This series started off the exact opposite. There's flip the spectrum on it. Started off hot, started off fast, started off hilarious, and it started off as something that was fantastically done. Now we're going in the exact opposite direction. We are going to Loser Town, occupation this show. This show is definitely not what writing should be about. Clayface, being a fake writer himself and someone who's trying to do a one of one play to what seemed to be all of maybe 5 people, kind of reminds us of maybe how much of the audience is actually left watching this show as a whole. It's not good. It's not well done. Clayface's accent was terrible. Delivery was deadpan. And then we go up and pick up on the plot where Ivy is making amends with herself, I guess, so to speak, with her ex and how everything culminated and how everything ended. Poison Ivy needed closure, so she went and made sure that there was going to be a closed casket, so to speak. And as it turns out, things got wild, very out of hand. Now her ex was imbued with this power of the green and turns into Floronic Man, which Moronic Man is more like it. He was someone who had all the power and majesty and grandeur that Poison Ivy has when she's really, really in touch with the green. When Poison Ivy is on, as most Batman fan knows, she is someone you don't mess with at all, point blank period. She has given the Batman a run for his money. As it turns out, all you need is a little bit touch of the green and some gases, and you're creating someone that is stronger than her, but somehow was exceptionally dumber than she was, because he had the ability to take out Frank, who rode in to be a hero, and Gallant, as always, our favorite potted plant. And we have, Poison Ivy in this absolute deadlock decision where, for whatever reason, she's not able to harness a tap into the green the way that we've seen her tap in the last couple seasons. She's gone toe to toe with Superman. And while I know power scaling, Supes is, I can't reach my arm high enough. He's broken. There's no other way to say it. Poison Ivy's no slouch, but in this series, even though it's a spoof, so I will heavily imply that, she's done quite decently for herself and managed to cause quite a bit of ruckus and mayhem in cities where we have people like Lex Luthor, Batman, Superman, etc. Darkseid just kind of popping in and out of this series. And while I'm excited as everybody to see Bane back in any capacity, having him become just this running side character pertaining to everything to where he has to throw the whole show on his back and try and carry it forward doesn't really seem like it's gonna work. Just look at Dark Knight Rises if you want to, take a look at that. Bane can be great. However, this series, for whatever reason, is not great. The Jason Woodrow happened to be someone who was very strong, very powerful, very poignant. He was ready to engage in what he needed to. And even when he was being dissed for his name, he's like, you know what? I'm not going to engage. And they just went right into what villains should be. We're not monologuing. We're not dialoguing. We're not buying for time. We're not trying to extend things out. We're not trying to create this whole thing and schism that isn't. He was about down to business, and he's like, I wish I had some grand plan. I wish I had some world takeover conquest. Look, I have been back born alive for 24 hours. The only thing I'm thinking of vengeance against you. Small-minded, but accurate, succinct, and honestly, something I would have probably done the same thing. You off me, I off you. We're just, good to go. Everyone's having a good time. Everything's finished, and we're going to go ahead and move on as best we can. However, through everything going on, Harley is able to get in contact with not only Frank, she's able to locate the body. And while she's out locating the body, we see, of course, the grad students are, well, let's just put it out there. Grad students. They get up to some shenanigans, they get up to Sheboygan, they're having a good time, they're just enjoying themselves. It was just an unnecessary gag, it felt like, but at the same time, it's grad students. What are you going to do? They work very, very hard, and apparently they play even harder. So good for them. At least they're having a good time, because right now, I'm not really having a good time with this series. And ultimately, Harley was able to save and ultimately basically delimb Jason Woodrow to the point where I don't think he's going to see anything from him again. However, the only genius in this room, Brainiac, captures both Harley and Poison Ivy, and now they're within a magical cell. So all that and everything going on with his new cat / monkey, I don't know what it was. It was some alien hybrid, is going to be a problem for all of Metropolis. How will Superman respond? And will he ever get his cape back on? Who can say? All I can say, and what I should say, is hit that lovely subscribe button. It's free. It's in the bottom right corner logo or the red description box below. I'm Brent for Geek Variants. Hopefully you're having a better time than I am with this series, because right now, 2 thumbs way down. We'll see you in the next one.